In this video, we have two binomials, and we're going to use two different strategies to factor them. In every factoring problem, we want to start the same way. We're looking for something that divides into every term. So in this term, there doesn't look like there's a number that would divide into them, but we've got an x in each of them. In fact, we want to take x to the fourth out, because the lowest exponent, that is how many factors of x that we can take out. You could write this out if you wanted to in a way that makes it more obvious. If you wrote it out as 7 and then with 5 x's minus, and then you've got 4 x's all multiplied together, then you can see, oh, I really can divide out x to the fourth. And then I can actually cross them out, and I can see that what I'm going to have left is 7x minus 1, and then on the outside I'll have x to the fourth. But we need to get to the point where we don't have to write it out. And so if we didn't write it out and we're just analyzing it visually, we can say, all right, I can't see a number that can come out. The rule is I'll take the lowest exponent, and then I'll subtract my exponents. So if I divide it by x to the fourth, the x to the fourth is going to come out in front. Let me write this again. And then what I'll have left is a 7. 5 minus 4 is 1, so it's just going to be x to the 1 power. And in this one, 4 minus 4 is 0. Well, anything to the 0 power is just 1. So it's going to be 7x minus 1. Or you can think of it as they're identical, so I'm going to cross them out. But there's always going to be something there. If I left it blank without anything there, distributing it wouldn't bring me back to where I started. So I can check it by distributing it to see, does distributing x to the fourth into both spots bring me to the problem I began with? It should. On the second problem, we have 4x squared minus 9. We can't divide anything at all out to the front, and it doesn't look factorable unless you see a pattern. The pattern is that both of these numbers are perfect squares, and since there's only two terms, we can assume that there was one in the middle that canceled. And so we've got a pattern that we can recognize. Since there's a minus, we know that a positive times a negative is a negative. And that 4, if we square root it, we'll get 2. The x squared we can square root, and we'll get x. And then the 9 we can square root, and we'll get 3. Some people like to do this with the box method. When they see a binomial, they'll say, all right, if I have 4x squared and a negative 9 in my box, what could have created that? And they'll say, well, this has to be 2x times 2x is 4x squared, and negative 3 times 3 is 9. Some people like to factor it this way. So there's several ways to look at both of those binomials. I hope that was helpful.